Welcome to the Corporate to Coach podcast. I'm Pamela, a former corporate professional turned certified life and business coach and mentor. If you're ready to sign clients, grow your soul-led coaching business, and shed the employee identity so you can step fully into business ownership, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Corporate to Coach podcast. So, as you know, I have been going through a bit of a transition in the last couple of months, going back into full-time employment while I build my business. And I am overdue updating the intro to this very podcast. And just a second ago, I mentioned ditching the employee mindset. And it's so interesting how the essence and the truest frequency of an intention can always be there, but our ability to communicate it effectively, our maturity with the concept, and our understanding of the nuance totally develops with more life experience and supporting more clients and going through different circumstances yourself. And so, as I'm still deciding how to bring together what it is that I do, something I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, as I've been allowing the watering of a seed of an idea to really come into fruition and take shape, because I'm almost decided now on where I want to take my business and what kind of offering I want to give and where I want it to go. And I have noticed with more clarity and the closer I come to being in that place of taking action and literally putting together an actual launch and actually creating something that you can come and work with me in, I have found myself doing something that I have helped almost all of my clients at some stage navigate, something that I have had to navigate for different reasons over my journey of business building and becoming a life coach. And I want to share it with you today on the podcast because it's coming up for me and I'm having to remind myself of my own goddamn coaching, as we often do. And as I've coached so many clients through this very thing, I've got a name for it in my head. And as soon as I say it, you're gonna probably understand it. But what I'll do is tell you what it is. I'm gonna show you the ways that you might be doing this and the sneaky ways that it shows up. And then I'm gonna give you the wisdom so that it doesn't stop you and it doesn't become a barrier or an obstacle to your success. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. If I said the phrase identity discounting, how does that land in your body? Or maybe in your mind, probably more so in your mind than in your body, to be honest with you. It's more cerebral. Identity discounting. This is what we do when we are going through something that we probably coach on and probably take a stand on and speak about publicly and with our clients privately and in how we like to see ourselves. And then circumstances arise or self-doubt kicks in regardless of circumstances, but often there's been like some kind of trigger or some kind of event that's been a catalyst to this. And you start discounting all of the building blocks to this identity that you are building or have built. Now, what's interesting is when an identity is truly established, it's very hard to shake that. But identity discounting happens when you are, in many ways, still in the becoming of that identity. And so I'll give you an example. I have been identity discounting in myself as a business coach and business mentor I have been, unbeknownst to me until I saw it so clearly the other day, and it felt like a slap in the face. And I was like, how can I do this to myself? What am I doing? I deal with this all the time with my clients, and I'm always helping them through this. But I am a business coach and mentor. I am someone who helps coaches successfully learn how to sign clients and make money as a life coach through developing their messaging, their marketing, their selling, and building their identity as the very person who can do those things. I was discounting my identity around that because I'm also stepping into another identity at the moment. I'm stepping into, and I have stepped into, being an employee again. I'm now holding two very strong identities, two identities that physically take up a lot of my time, that physically take up a lot of my energy, that physically takes up my resources. Identity is the thing that you say, I am. I am this. I am X, and as a result of X, I do these actions and I think in this way and I operate in this way and I present myself in this way and I see myself in that way, internally, externally, how people perceive me. When an identity is established, it is generally pretty well accepted. Stepping into a new job has been a reinvigoration of an old identity that I truly thought I would never ever revisit again. And revisiting that and awakening that identity within me has been a clash of identities for the business side of me. And it's been fascinating to watch. Now, in your situation, if you've ever gone through this or you ever go through this, it may not be that black and white. It might not be that there is another identity that is trying to negate the identity that you have. In like my instance, employment versus entrepreneurship. For you, it might just be this identity you have as a successful life coach or as in a successful partnership or marriage or as a successful parent or friend. And there may be circumstances that arise where you are challenged in that identity. Maybe business isn't going so well. Maybe you haven't worked with a client in a few months and you're thinking, well, am I even a coach? Maybe your partnership or your marriage is on the rocks and you're thinking, oh, Jesus, like I see myself as this person and yet my relationship isn't reflecting that. Maybe it's you're really good with money, generally speaking, and you've been hit with a large tax bill that you weren't expecting. It's that time of the year, end of financial year. So maybe that could literally happen and it could shake you and cause you to have to take action that you have to respond to and put things in place where you have to decide who you are and how you want to respond. And if we're not careful and we allow circumstances or just internal doubts to fester and to dictate how we choose to perceive ourselves and how we choose to exist in the world, then it will chip away at that identity. And then we are left questioning everything. And so for me, how this has shown up has been, well, do I have any right to stand here and say I'm a business mentor when I have a job? That's not a helpful thought, but I felt it. I have been feeling a sense of who am I to tell coaches that you can make money as a life coach and I'm making fuckloads of money in a day job. And yet I have made hundreds of thousands in my coaching business and I just decided to discount all of that. and not make it count anymore and just pretend it never happened and allow the recency bias to determine how I viewed myself. Isn't it interesting how our brains do this? And what's interesting is that those thoughts can exist. You may think that about me, and that's okay. I'm not the coach for you right now. That's fine. Maybe I have to earn it again to show you that I can be, but I'm not attached to that. When I actually saw this happening, I really sat with it, and it made me really actually have to ask myself, and I encourage you to do so as well. I had to really ask myself, well, what actually makes somebody a legitimate business coach and mentor? And this is a common narrative. I was having this discussion with some coaches literally 2 days ago about when business coaches decide that they're going to start, or when life coaches decide that they want to start supporting business owners and entrepreneurs, and their business is just getting off the ground. I see this a lot with the content that some of the coaches that I follow create. They start targeting other coaches and they start talking about business topics. And yet they haven't even made their first 10K month. They've barely made 50K in their business ever, like all time, over the last like X amount of years that they've been in it. And it's like, interesting. What is it that actually entitles you to take on a title? What is it that entitles you to take on an identity and market from that place? And if you can be shaken whenever that identity is, when doubt has been cast, it really requires you to sit with it and decide who you are before the evidence has sometimes arrived. And so when I think about my business journey, I was at one stage that person. I realized that when I was doing career change coaching and burnout coaching, and I realized that so many of the clients that I was attracting wanted to become a coach, wanted to learn how to sign their first clients. For me to deliver that authentically, and I didn't call myself a business mentor at that point, but for me to deliver those services authentically, I had to be radically authentic about what I could help them to achieve. At the time, I hadn't made six figures. So I certainly did not advertise that that's the result that you get when you work with me, because I hadn't seen that result in my clients and I hadn't seen that result in myself. So it was inauthentic. But I had made money as a life coach. I do enjoy sales and marketing and messaging. I am really good at it. And I have a lot of evidence, both just in the joy that I feel when I do it and in the results that it creates and the feedback I receive, that validates that I actually have something to teach someone who is a few steps behind me and doesn't have a freaking clue and or doesn't like it. And being in my energy, providing my perspective, sharing the way that I think, sharing the way that I process things, sharing the way that I view sales, marketing, messaging, that has enabled coaches to achieve some incredible results. And yet, 6 years into business, hundreds of thousands of of money made. And sorry, I glitched there because I went from pounds to dollars and I moved country and changed currency, and it fucks with my head regularly. So hundreds of thousands in pounds and dollars made. And that is who I am. And just the other day, I was at a networking event for my birthday, and, I've been sitting with all of this doubt, all of this identity discounting that I've been doing, like on the down low, like just my brain just pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, like really, really just like not wanting to be visible. And this is how right? Like you're not necessarily promoting, you're not selling, you're not you're not feeling confident. You're feeling a little bit shy and a little bit doubtful, and you're letting like other people's success become not your success. So you use that against yourself. So I was noticing these things were happening, but I was going to this networking event for my birthday the other day. And we ended up doing this like round robin, like business share where we were able to support somebody with a business problem and give them any advice. And look, everybody there, they're all business owners, but they weren't all business mentors. And you can tell the difference. Those of us who are business mentors, the way that the advice that we provided was received was exponentially more potent than those who are just sharing their 2 cents because they build a business too. And when I gave my response, that person then came up to me afterwards and said, how can I work with you? I'd like to what you said like really resonated. Maybe she said that to a few of us, but she probably didn't say that to everybody who gave that kind of advice. So I was reminded in that moment that actually I know who the fuck I am and I have something powerful to offer. And when I really do come back to service, and when I really do come back to what lights me up, and when I really come back to what I like to do and what I'm very competent at doing, like I'm good at this, I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot who I am for a second. I was discounting my own identity and I was letting my own circumstances dictate my truth. And I'm not available for that. And as soon as I saw it, and as soon as I put myself back in the right room, surrounded by like minded people, and as soon as I really just sat with and contemplated that what is going on here, like when you're not feeling powerful in your business, you got to owe it to yourself to take the time to sit down and really go, okay, well, what am I thinking? Like what actually is this feeling trying to communicate to me? And the minute I looked at it and actually gave it a voice and put words to the resistance that I've been feeling, the quicker I could look at it and go, oh, okay, interesting. Do I want to keep doing that? Is that true? Is this really going to serve me to get to where I want to go? And where is the truth in it? Where do I need to fucking step up to the plate and actually, create some results so that I can be proud? Like, I don't, I'm not just looking for a pity party here. I don't want somebody to be like, no, 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 you're good. You can do this. Like, no, nobody owes me that. I've got to step up and be the freaking business coach and mentor that I know I am. And this is the same in your circumstances. Whenever, one of my clients, a parenting coach, and kids go through phases. I'll just say right now, I do not have children myself, but having coached quite a few women who have children, and especially when this particular coach, a parenting coach, was like, my kids are fucking feral at the moment. Like they're going through some kind of growth spurt. I don't know what's happening. I cannot seem to like keep it together, keep my household together. And yet she's attracting clients who are going through the same thing. It would have been very easy for her to discount her identity as an excellent mother, as an excellent coach, as a capable and resourceful businesswoman. But through our coaching, it was actually, oh, we're identity discounting here. Oh, do we want to keep doing that? Where do we need to step up to the plate? Where do we need to remember our own freaking teachings and embody them and like bring them to life and find new depth and new nuances? Where do I need to not discount my own identity? Where do I need to not let recency impact the way that I view my entire identity and my entire history? And how do I not discount the last freaking 1, 2, 5, 6, 10 years of business because of what's happened in the last 2 months? No, you owe it to yourself to honor your entire journey. you owe it to yourself to step into the version of you that you actually desire to be and that you also genuinely are. And honoring what it is, like honoring the truth of where you are, even when there is also growth, even when there is also a lot further that you could take it. So that's been a huge revelation for me. I hope this has given you some beautiful perspective, either something to bank if you're not going through something similar specifically right now, but it's going to come up. Like there will be instances where you are challenged to be a walking embodiment of what you teach and to remember who the fuck you are and to notice if you are identity discounting and choosing intentionally and on purpose to remember your truth, to step back into your authentic expression whilst honoring the fear, honoring the doubt. Because often it's the inner child, right? Often it's just the lack of nervous system regulation that, maybe you've forgotten. Maybe, like I've said earlier, circumstances just are really challenging you right now. But coming back to the things that work, coming back to the things that allow you to be your best self. For me, it's showing up on the podcast. What's interesting is that as soon as I realized this was happening, and as soon as I had these revelations, it was probably within minutes of finding completion and coming back to myself that I was like, I've got to share this, like 100%. This I need to share. And I'm not just going to share it from a, hey, this can happen and it can look like this and these are the signs and this is what you do, but actually share vulnerably, share the intimacy of how I've literally have lived it so that you can see yourself in that story and overcome it. So that was my gift to you today. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. A shorter and sweet episode, but probably more potent. And given that I am now an employee as well as a business owner, I I do need to start offering some shorter and sharper episodes because I don't have all the time in the world to be rambling on for an hour and giving you every nuance and every depth of what I have to share. Like me, you're probably listening to this on a commute to work or in between a lunch break. So I'm going to try and honor a few like 20-30 minute episodes, as well as the bigger topics that I like to dive into, which would be, 50 to 60 minutes. So I'm going to give you a bit more variety so that it can honor the time that you have if you're also building your business around a 9 to 5. So drop me a message. Let me know if that landed. Let me know if you have been identity discounting lately and if this helped give you some perspective to remember who the fuck you are and come back to yourself, come back to your power, even when circumstances and doubt dictates otherwise. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode.